Let's go out to Missouri and talk to the great and wonderful Logan. What up, Logan? How we doing?
How's it going, John?
Good. Sorry you had to hear that weird thing from Nathan.
It's all good. I can double down on the Mexican though.
Yes. I'm glad you didn't say you want to eat penguin. All right. So what's up, man?
So it's been a rough month, man.
What happened?
Well, my wife, she decided that our marriage was over, and I didn't get a confrontation. I didn't get a conversation. I didn't get nothing. So my question to you, sir, is how do you move forward when you know that you are never going to get the closure that you need to get past something like that?
Well, I think there's a couple of layers in between now and closure.
No, I understand that. I understand it's going to be a process and everything. I'm very self-aware and just very, conscious of the process of healing from emotional trauma and grief. But this is a situation that I've never been faced with in my life, and I was never prepared for.
Why'd she leave, man?
She said that she hasn't been happy for a while. We haven't had a proper face-to-face conversation or anything about this. I'm an over-the-road trucker, and she told me that she was going down to see some family for a couple of days. I got back from a run. She left. When I left to, get on the road again, she was coming back up, and then I found out all the stuff that happened.
Dude, why aren't you on her front porch right now, wherever she is?
Because if I do, I'm probably going to get arrested, and not because I'm going to do anything violent, but because the dude thinks I'm psychotic.
Oh, is she at another guy's house?
Yeah, she's already with another dude. She went down to go see some family, but during that time, she was not seeing family. She was moving stuff in with this dude that she just met down there, which I don't even know if it's, it's a big mess. And
she didn't just meet him, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
It's clearly been happening for a while. Apparently, the conversation that I've heard is because this dude's ex contacted my mom and started asking questions, and it got all kinds of twisted. But that's how I found out. Like, this dude, his ex contacted my mom. My mom contacted me like, hey, something's going down.
I just feel like there's a group of people in the background going, Jerry, just chanting.
Oh,
man.
I know, right? I know.
All right, so if she got in a car, if she knocked on the door, or you're sitting there watching TV tonight and she walked in the front door, are you having her back, or is your marriage over?
I mean,
answer as straight as you can answer.
All right, as straight as it can be.
Yeah.
99.9% no.
No, your marriage is over.
Okay. Because some of the things that have been said, can't be taken back, and they cannot be taken lightly.
Well, lying to you and moving out and moving in with some other guy and sleeping with him for the last month, that shouldn't be lightly either.
No, but the thing is, when I was out on a run when all of this went down, I was on my way back, and she called me and said, okay, do you want to fix this? Do you want to work on this? And I said yes, and I expected her to be there when I got back, and she was gone.
So did y'all have a big blow up that she finally just said enough's enough?
There was no big blow up. I didn't even know she was unhappy. Like, for the last year and a half, it's been rough because that's how long I've been driving a truck for.
Okay.
And I always tried to get her to come on the road with me. I always tried to get her to, do things with me when I was home. But she always prioritized her friends, and she always had some reason not to come on the road with me.
So she's been out of this marriage for a long time.
I know that now. Okay. I didn't realize it at the time.
Sure. And so one of the scariest things about finding out your spouse has cheated on you, one is that picture you have in your head of her having sex with somebody else, right? There's that very visceral reality, right?
And that was eating me up for
it is.
The first 2 weeks of all of this. And now it's like, for some reason, the last week or so, I've been able to push that out of my head. I've just not been able to think about that.
Good.
It's been fantastic.
Yes. And I want to tell you something. Thinking about that over time is a choice. You can't help the lightning bolt, the image that just shoots in your head. You can choose to hit play on that videotape that's looping in your head. Okay?
Okay.
That's number one. And most people think that finding out your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend is cheating on you, that is the worst part. It's not. The worst part is realizing what you're realizing in slow motion right now. And you no longer trust Logan.
Yeah.
Because you missed it.
Yeah.
For 2 years, your wife's been out of this thing, and you didn't know.
Yeah.
And you were busting your butt to get certified. You've been busting your butt to give her a better life by driving, right?
Yeah.
And you had a
I've
picture.
realized over the last few weeks that it has felt like a very one-sided marriage for a lot longer than I realized.
That's right.
Because I was putting in all of this work and of this effort to keep providing and making sure that she didn't have to do things she didn't want to do. I've paid for cruises. I've paid for trips. I've paid for girls' trips. And I'm just like, okay, but when am I going to get those things? And it never came.
Yeah. And so you find yourself on really you're out on a lake that's frozen and all the ice is cracking around you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a scary feeling. Not being able to trust your own gut and your own intuition. So there's a couple of things that are important. Number one, my friend Dave says this, and I love it. When somebody leaves you, when your marriage is over, the relationship has ended, the romantic relationship has ended, the friendship at the time has ended. I think friendships can happen down the road when things are trust reestablished. And this isn't every group. I know there's people who consciously uncouple and they hold hands under the courthouse to get divorced, and that's a whole other conversation. But this is now a business transaction.
My dad has been saying that for so long.
It's a business transaction. Is she in your car?
No, not anymore. Actually, she was in my vehicle. She was driving my car for like 3 years, and she used my car that I came into this marriage with to go and do all of this stuff. And then just last week, we managed my lawyer convinced her to come up and swap her out of my vehicle into another vehicle that we had that we were both on the title for. And she was never on the title for my car, so I'm glad I got that.
So this is now a business transaction. She's made a grown-up choice. And with that grown-up choice is going to come a lot of grown-up consequences. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's also going to cost you some. It's going to suck. Yep. It's going to be hard. I want you to stop texting her.
I haven't. She cut off her phone.
Okay.
She disconnected her phone and everything.
Okay.
I have no contact.
Okay. I want you to let your attorney do his job or her job. Yep. Okay. And then the second thing is good old-fashioned grief. And you cannot do this by yourself.
I have a fantastic support structure.
Good.
Like those first 2 days when I found out everything and, all the thoughts were running through my head, if I didn't have my family, I don't think I could have been doing my job and functioning as a person at all. Yeah,
I'm amazed that you're even still standing upright. But here's what that looks like. That looks like you getting 2 or 3 people and you all go to dinner. Are you doing local or are you doing week-long runs?
About week-long runs. I'm on a run to Oregon now.
Okay, so when you get done from a run, how long are you at home before you turn and go back out?
2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Sometimes 4.
You have to prioritize those 2 to 3 days. You got to get your laundry done. You got to go to the bank. You got to get a haircut. You got to do that stuff. But also, you got to have a dinner or a breakfast with the guys.
Yep.
And you have to have the courage. All those thoughts you're having when you're out on the road, all the anger, all the frustration, all the tears, all the singing, all the yelling, you have to have the courage to write that stuff down, or if you want to be safer, speak it into a phone app while you're driving. You have to have the courage to sit down and tell those guys out loud what you're going through in real time.
Yeah, if I didn't have the people that I have, I would have fallen apart.
I know.
And
hey, listen, you're gonna fall apart.
Be more great. I can't be not. I cannot be more grateful for the people that I have around me. Um,
Good. Listen,
honestly, my
this
best friends.
well, I want you not to just talk to him on the phone and not just text him. I want you to sit in face to face with him if you can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this imaginary, you have fantasized already about a couple of things. Finding this guy in a dark alley and doing your worst. You have fantasized.
No, actually, it never crossed my mind because I never blamed the guy.
Oh, it's crossing my mind for you.
He's not the one who did this. This was her decision. Completely.
Yeah, I mean, he's with a married woman, but I get your sentiment.
I agree. I agree with that sentiment, and I completely understand where you're coming from. But he made this choice.
Well, that's very wise of you. Good for you. It's very mature of you. You're more mature than I would be being. But the second thing is, there is not going to be some magic. If you had 30 minutes with her just to say everything you needed to say, you wouldn't feel better when it was over. On this side of it, you think you would, you wouldn't. There's no magic catharsis. It won't exist. It won't exist. And so the hardest thing you have to do is let go of the fantasy that if you just had a conversation, if you just knew why, if you just fill in the blank, that all this would feel different. And I think at this point it wouldn't. What's happened has happened. It's just heartbreaking. And I want you to not do anything drastic or anything wild for 6 months. I want you to keep meeting with your buddies once a week. And your family, whoever it is, that's your support network. I want you all to meet in person. I want you to talk about what you're struggling with. And my guess is if you've lived in a marriage where you've been trying and trying and trying and trying, and there's all this deception going on underneath the water, you're going to find strange pockets of peace too. The sun's going to come out in places that you didn't know the sun had gone down. And I want you to lean into that. And I want you to make sure you take care of your body, exercise. I want you to eat as clean as you can, even though you're on the road. I know it's very, very hard. I want you to be intentional. I want you to sleep when you can. I've seen guys out at on some of the side trucks. They've got kettlebells on the side of their they're out there doing their workouts with their kettlebells outside their rigs. I want that to be you. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to look up in 6 months, and I don't want you to have bought a bunch of stupid crap. I want you to be in relatively good health. I want this divorce. I want your attorney to have been doing their job and kicking butt for you. I don't want you to be in a season of grief, heartbreak. Maybe take a journal with you and write down at night when you're sleeping in the back of your rig, write down how you feel, which sounds so cheesy and lame. I know. Write that stuff down. Then in 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, I want you to start coming up from air. I want you to give me a call back then. There's not a thing that you can do right now that's just going to snap your fingers. You're caught in a river that's running fast, and you're going to hang on to your buddies, and you're going to ride this one out. And I want you to be healthy and smart as you do it. And I'm so, so sorry for you. I'm glad that you're not talking to her. I'm glad you're not communicating with her. I don't want you talking to her friends or this guy's ex. Just get out of the drama. Get out of the drama. And in these kind of situations, there's a high rate that she calls you at some point. Can we talk? No. You can talk to my attorney. You made your grown-up decision, and now you're going to have to live with the grown-up consequences. And I'm heartbroken for you, brother. I really am. Ugh. Man, I'm heartbroken for you.